Hey, also, I'm in a small town at their local city park. Have 5G. Absolutely lovely. Not crowded. There's some people here, kids play on the playground, people parked. Super chill. This town has, fast food places, restaurants, gas stations, grocery store, not chain grocery stores. It's all just local grocery stores, but full. Has a hospital, hotels, motels. Yeah, it's so nice. It really is. With this beautiful scenery. Now, of course, there's times of the year where it is going to be horribly hot here. But right now, it's like 70 degrees. It's absolutely lovely. So I'm going to be working here today. I'm going to sleep somewhere around town, probably right outside of town. There's a reservoir and there's some spots around there that I think that will be a really good space to sleep tonight. Because I have a Zoom call that goes till 8 p.m. California, which is 9 p.m. here. So I don't want to be driving far after that. I'd really rather already be at my campsite, but I don't think I will be. This place is open until 9 p.m. So I might just stay here until that call's over. It might be over before that. I suspect it will be. I don't think it's going to go the full amount of time, but just in case. So I'm just going to be doing work. I'm already done answering emails. I'm going to be filing some trademark applications, all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm still not uploading video because I don't want to use my bandwidth for that. I'm going to wait till I can get on some fast Wi-Fi, probably back in California. That's something that I'm going to be working on, is figuring out uploading. I may upload some things while I'm out. Might make some shorter videos. I'm actually thinking about even doing that today, recording some shorter videos. I have one about safety and one about my CPAP setup, things like that. That would work really well for a shorter type of video. And then the file will be smaller so I can upload it. That's what I mean about that. Good morning. So last night was my first experience finding dispersed camping in the dark, and I did not like it. Trying to go down a gravel road and find a place to park and then go straight to sleep. Because what happened is it really woke me up. And then I could not fall asleep last night, and I did not sleep well last night. It was just because I got here in the dark and was stressful to get here, it made me be so awake. I did not sleep well, and I feel a little bit headachy. So the reason that I had to do that was because I'm taking actually a class at community college that has a Zoom call once a week. And so I did the Zoom call at the park in town, which actually the park in town was so great. It's where I worked all day. It was this lovely, clean, quiet park, kids playing, had bathrooms, had water filling stations. And I was able to sit at the picnic table and work, and, it was great. It's actually open until 11 p.m. When I got on with my call at 9 p.m. local, I then went to the bathroom and everything and brushed my teeth and stuff, which was great. But when I got walking back to my car, I saw that there was a cop or sheriff, I don't know what they have here, in the middle of the street, just literally parked, not just stopped. And I'm just is that cop watching me? I don't know. Maybe they were just looking at a map. Maybe they were looking at their computer. I have no idea, but it really put me on guard. I wasn't doing anything wrong. The park was open until 11 p.m., but I don't know. So I was going to leave there anyway, but it kind of put me in a stressed, mental space. And then coming out here, I am parked on a gravel road by a reservoir. And this is one of those iOverlander spots. So I was pretty sure it was going to be fine. And it's technically I'm literally over the line. And I mean by I could throw a rock onto BLM land. So the cop doesn't even have jurisdiction here, I don't think. I think BLM land means it's federal land, right? I actually don't even know exactly how the rules are, but that's what I'm thinking. So I was fine being here, but I was still stressful, And it was stressful driving here because I do it in the dark. So I had to find the turn in the dark. And the highway, I think, becomes 55 miles an hour here right before the turn. And so I was going slow and people were pissed. They're coming right behind me with their brights on it. And so I had to like keep pulling over because I needed to go slow to find the spot to turn. It was stressful. I found it and ended up being fine when it really came down to it objectively, but I felt very like alert and unable to sleep well. But it's okay. Now I am changing my plans. As of right now, today is Thursday, today's Friday, the last week of September. And I was planning to be out here in the world for traveling around for another week or two, going to more national parks. But the government is likely to be shut down by the federal government by Sunday, the October 1st. So I can only really depend on the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. So today I'm going to go to one national park, and then the next day I'm going to go to another national park. So at least I'll get 2 more. And then assuming the government shuts down on Sunday, I'm going to drive back to the San Francisco Bay Area. Tuesday I have client calls. So I have to be somewhere on Tuesday where I can do client calls. But the bigger thing is that my kind of project that I'm working on as far as travel is going to national parks. And the thing is, obviously there's tons of other places you can go, state parks, county parks, just going to remote BLM land, all kinds of things. The problem is that everyone's going to leave the national parks. They'll be kicked out because they'll be closed, and then they'll go to all those places too. And I don't want to go to places that are busy. And the state parks are smaller, you know what I mean? So usually. So yeah, that doesn't sound fun. I'm just not in the mood for that. So my plan is when I fit in, and I actually was going to also go look at my land, but the thing is that takes me another entire day more east. So I'm going to do that another trip, but that was just totally fine. So what I'm going to do is, assuming the government shuts down, then after the Saturday, so today is Friday, I'll go to one park, Saturday I'll go to another park, and then Saturday night I'll be turning around, coming back. I'll probably spend the night at like a rest stop or something like that. And I think I know the route I'm going to take coming back. I'm going to try to avoid interstates as much as possible because I just dislike driving them. So I am going to pick the drive that I want to do. But I mean, once I get back to California, I'll take interstates most likely. And yeah, not as fun to have to turn it back around, but it is what it is. I do not control the federal government and can't make them do their job and actually pass a budget, unfortunately, for all of us. So the parks in this town, the park that I was at opens at 7 a.m. This reservoir, I'm parked at technically on BLM land, but you're not allowed to camp at the boat launch, actual real parking area. There's a bathroom that some people on iOverlander says opens 24/7. I actually don't know. And I don't know if that parking lot is kind of open at 7 a.m. I'm wondering if it's the same hours as this park in town, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I haven't gone down there yet, but I'm planning to go down there right around 7. I also wanted it to be light when I left this place that I'm parked. It's 6:39 local time. I say local time because I'm in Utah right now. I am a mile from Arizona. And Arizona doesn't have daylight savings. So Arizona is the same time as California, where Utah is the same time as, the mountains, the rest of the, Rocky Mountains, mountain time. So it's very weird to be going back and forth across the border because the time changes by an hour in just a very short distance. It's strange. So anyway, local time, I'm in Utah. It's getting close to the time that I'm going to go down there, but not quite yet. It also, one of the things is when I was going to sleep, it actually wasn't cold. And I actually realized I like sleeping in the cold. Well, I am going like that. I'm going, I don't know. When I go back to the San Francisco Bay Area, it won't be cold. It should be not hot, but it won't be cold. But I'm hoping I'll be comfortable sleeping because I'll be back in my space. So, just got out of my car and realized there's a porta potty here. I'm going to go see if it's open because then that solves the problem. I don't have to find somewhere to go to the bathroom and worry about it being open or any of that stuff. We shall go see. It actually was a good place to sleep. It's just that I was too stressed. Oh, there's a little trail. This is where the trail is that goes around here. So it makes sense that they have to be porta potty. Wow, it even had not just toilet paper, but hand sanitizer. The little things that make you excited. So it's pretty chilly right now. It's 48 degrees. I am wearing shorts because it's going to be like in the 80s or even 90 where I'm going today. So I actually am literally wearing the same clothes from yesterday. I'm not going to take a shower anyway, so like whatever. And if it isn't this lovely to wake up to, this nice reservoir and the moon and stuff. I mean, I was stressed last night, but this was a good place to sleep, and I'm really glad that I came over here. I can hear birds over there at the lake, and now I'm watching the sunrise. So as I said, I didn't sleep well last night and was migraine-y. I probably should have used my device back in that town I was in, but I didn't. So I was hoping that food, breakfast and coffee would have made a difference, but it did not. And when the sun actually came up over the bluffs, I was like, this is stabbing me in the brain. So I stopped in a town. I'm at this very small town that has a little tiny park with a playground. And actually the city hall is here, which is a very small building that I thought was a house. So hopefully no one will like be bothered by the fact that I'm here. It's a super quiet place. It's a weekday, but I hear nothing. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to spend an hour here. It's already been like 10 or 15 minutes, and use my device completely. And then I'll be able to get on along my way to go to the last 2 national parks that I'm going to go to, probably because the federal government's probably going to shut down on Sunday, which is in 2 days. And obviously there's other things I could do, but I'm just, number one, not in the mood, especially since I'm migrating right now. But also I'm like, I think I'd be better off just going back, regroup, work on all the stuff I need to work on. I still have another trip I'm doing in October to another national park that I've like actually made reservations and everything. So that's totally still going to happen unless the government is shut down. Obviously, the government shut down, that trip will not happen, but I'm hoping they'll get their act together in a couple weeks. I actually just realized that. I was like, oh no, that's also to a national park. Hopefully that will happen. We shall see. But in the meanwhile, I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to go back and work on all the list of things, which is, by the way, it is getting rid of the storage unit. So I'll save $200 a month. It is, I'm going to change some things in my build, including the foam that I'm laying on right now. The thickness of the foam is perfectly fine. It's the fact that it's breaking into sections. So I'm going to redo that. So there's some stuff about my build that I'm going to change. I'm also going to vacuum it out and all that kind of stuff. There's one other thing I was going to do. I don't remember. So I don't know. I'll have to write it down once I remember it. Since I'm migraine-y, my wits are not about me. Yeah, so I've had a migraine all day. Totally sucked. I still went to a national park and did the scenic drive. Didn't do any hiking. The most I did was like get out and walk over and see the thing, But still, I mean, if I'm going to be miserable, I'd rather be miserable and somewhere beautiful. But it was really hard, like just doing all the driving and everything. And I'm in a part of Utah that has very few things. So like the highway that I'm on is a huge interstate 70. I'm in the part where there's 0 services for 100 miles. 100 miles, okay? So I had to actually drive backwards a little bit when I took the highway that hit the interstate, so I could go to the last truck stop. And it was a huge Love's. It's actually 2 Love's. And I went to one of them that had an Arby's, and I got so much food. I got like a double, and then I got curly fries. I mean, way more food than I normally. I ate it all up. I was so hungry, and went to the bathroom, whatever. And I could actually have spent the night at the Love's, but it's so busy. I think normally that would have been fine, but because I have a migraine, I was like, no, I'm not. So I drove to the next rest stop. This rest stop that just has a pit toilet. but that's fine because I can pee tonight and tomorrow morning, which is all I need. And it is in a absolutely beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful with rocks. The rocks are angled this way. I'll show it to you. And that's because of, this is where Capitol Reef made the reef, which was a place that's very difficult to cross. It's because of all the ground got all folded up. I mean, it's just so neat. It really is. And even though sunset's not for another hour or so, probably, the sun is already behind the rocks. So it's so good for me because the sun is like daggers. I've used my device twice today so far. I've taken Tylenol. I've done so many things. And one of the reasons I decided to just go ahead and start on my way back, just a tiny bit really, but start on my way back, is so that way I beat all the people who are going to get kicked out of the national parks and national monuments and national forest campgrounds and BLM campgrounds. Everyone's going to get kicked out tomorrow. So, because I can't spend tomorrow night, because at midnight there's no funding. So I want to be ahead of all those people. I actually might be driving through Yosemite because that might be the best way to avoid traffic. My tentative plan right now is to leave here, drive. It's about a 9-hour drive. It's a long drive to get to the place, the dispersed camping site that I did in that other video, that dispersed camping site that's outside Yosemite. Because if I went all the way there, I've been there before, so I know it. I actually have it locked into Google Maps. Okay, it's saved in there, so I could go there no problem. I know how close it is to the gas station stuff in Yosemite and everything, so I could use bathrooms in the morning. I can actually just pee there. Like, I'm not even worried about that because I did that last time. There's hardly any traffic there. I do have to be very conscious about where I get gasoline in Nevada because I would be driving on Highway 6, which is an incredibly low service area. But there are a couple of towns I fill up in Eli, I fill up Toponica, I think is the name of it, because I think those are the only places that have gas stations. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now, because then I would actually be very close to getting back to San Francisco Bay Area, and I would take a different route to avoid the horrible traffic. That's my thought. Part of this does depend if I wake up with a migraine, but I think either way, doing a long drive day, really comes down to it. I've been driving today really for 12 hours, but with stops. Like, I stopped to go to the bathroom, stopped to eat, stopped to look at things, blah, blah, blah. But I've been in the car underway for, about 12 hours. That's one of the weird things is, like, when you're going to national parks and stuff like that, where the scenic drives, you end up doing a lot of extra driving. So I only had, probably 6 hours of going from here to there, to there, to there. But then I added in hours of scenic driving and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah. So I probably drove 9 hours, I bet. There's actually a person here at the rest stop who has all these containers. And I actually wonder if they sell things here. So I'm going to stay in my car until it gets dark. I will put up all my things. I'm at the very end of the rest stop. And like I normally do at 8:30, I'll go walk over, go to the bathroom. By then the lights will come on. And yeah, I'm planning to just spend the night here. Right now it's just me and the other person with all their doors open. Since there is a truck stop that's only 10 minutes away, a lot of people will stop there because, it has running water. But I'm totally fine with this. There are trash cans here, so I'll be able to throw out all my garbage. But the cool part is I have connectivity. So I can watch YouTube and chill out, even though I'm so far from everything. It's lovely. So there's all these parking spots, and then this person just stops randomly. She's out there taking pictures, which is totally fine, but it's hilarious. And I'm like, there's parking spots. Oh, I think she's taking pictures of her car with this background. So she's for YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. So, I get it. I'm hanging out the window, so I actually have light in my face. So I decided to move my car underneath the light. There's 4 lights, but only 2 of them work. And I like to be under a light. I think rest stops are my favorite place to sleep as far as not, you know, camping out in the middle of nowhere kind of thing, because you can go to the bathroom. It's 24 hours in a place where it's legal to sleep in a rest stop. You're fine to sleep there. There are some states where you can only be at a place for an hour or two, but out in the West, it's like 7 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. You know, it's a lot longer. So I've realized, I've gone to the bathroom and everything. I'm in my car with all the window things are up. One thing I've realized is it's a lot warmer here. So I actually am going to need to switch out my bed and go back to my really light blanket. So I'm going to need to do that before I go to bed. The hard part is I kind of have to do it in my bed unless I want to show everybody that I'm who I am, which I do not want to do, because I do not, if someone happens to come up, I don't want someone to be like, oh yeah, a woman is sleeping in that car. So like, I'm in this car now. The next people who pull in will not know that I'm in here. They just know that there's probably somebody in there. They don't know who. And that's how I want it. Because when I went to the bathroom, no one was here right then. So I'm going to use my Cephally device for a full hour and remake my bed. I think I'll do that first, remake my bed first, and then use my Cephally device, and then go to bed, and then get up super early in the morning. Yeah, so I am driving on Highway 50. I'm in Utah right now and on my way to Nevada. So I turned around about halfway through this month-long trip because the government might be shutting down, but maybe it won't. I mean, we'll see. I'm recording this with 12 hours, 11 hours, whatever left. They're trying to pass a continuing resolution for short-term funding thing. They may or may not pass that. When I'm editing this video, I will know the answer. But I don't regret turning around even if they end up funding it. Even though I'm, sad about the places that I didn't get to go on this particular trip. Because I realize I kind of do need to plan my trips a little bit more. And not necessarily that I have to plan them all out in detail ahead of time, but that I need to think about it as I'm going on with more breaks. Not just breaks for working, because that's kind of how I was thinking, like, oh, this is a work day, this is a work day. And not just breaks for errands and chores, laundry, whatever. But that going to national parks or whatever beautiful places day after day after day after day, then you can't really appreciate any of it because it's so overwhelming and you don't have any time to incorporate it into your brain. So, and it's not that you're sick of it, it's just it's just too much, you need to have breaks in between. Now, I don't want to have to always go back to California because it would take me a couple days to get all the way back. Even driving fairly long days, it's still 2 days to get back. And then obviously the farther east I go, the longer it will take to get back to California. But more thinking about, okay, I'm going to spend a week, 2 weeks going to a bunch of different places. And then I'm going to go to a small city and be there for a week. Somewhere that's big enough to have a Planet Fitness, somewhere that has all kinds of different facilities, and that's a good spot for me to just live for a week or something like that, and start thinking about that way. So it's not just about work and whatever, it's also about just almost taking a break from travel, from seeing beautiful things, to just kind of incorporate that all into my brain. Because I'm not on vacation, since this isn't my life. I need to, I'm not in a hurry. I can slow things down a little bit and have it be something where I'm not just going bam, 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 literally, 52 weeks a year. That's just not sustainable. It's also expensive from a gas perspective, but putting that aside. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking is thinking about when I plan out my trips, thinking about, okay, I'm going to have this be like a home base for a little while, and this place be a home base, thinking about it that way. I also think I'm just going to plan my trips more. And I already talked about this. This particular trip I've been on, was planned more than my last trip, but like continuing to do more and more planning as I realize how I actually travel when living in a car. For example, in the non-West Coast part of the West, you can stay at so many Walmart supercenters and rest stops, and like there's so many more places to stay. And then you get Cracker Barrels. Actually, I haven't stayed in yet. That'll be another video in the future. My first time I stayed at Cracker Barrel. But those places, like, you have a lot more options without even having to really do a lot of investigation for you to sleep. And so since I can sleep in those places, it means that those can be kind of, temporary home bases for a little while when I'm in a particular town. Yeah, and kind of thinking about it from the perspective of Planet Fitness is, okay, here's a Planet Fitness, then, I'm going to go here, do all this stuff, go there, have that be that I'm going to stay in that city for, it could be 3 days, it could be a week. That's what I did when I was in Idaho, and I was in Idaho Falls. I think I was there for 3 or 4 nights, I can't remember. I think 3 nights, because in the 4th, I actually was about half an hour out of town. But that's the idea. That actually was really helpful. So I could kind of incorporate in my brain everything that I saw at Yellowstone. So when I went to the next national park, I was able to receive more beauty because I had incorporated everything. So yeah, I think that's a very good idea. Now I could have, not that I couldn't have done that for the rest of this trip. And if I had been 100% sure the national parks were going to be open, I probably would have kind of planned that. I'm also having troubles right now because I've been having a migraine. Right this second, at the time I'm recording this video, it's not too bad, but that doesn't mean it won't come back again. So mostly it's not too bad because I used my device, I took some Tylenol, I've eaten snacks and things like that. So I'm kind of I'm at a pretty good place right this second, but it doesn't mean I will remain in a good place. Highway 70, Interstate 70 through Utah, absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. There's this section for 100 miles where there are no services, no gas stations, nothing. There are rest stops, most of which I think just have pit toilets. But not all of them, but most of them. It is amazingly beautiful country. Like, this drive could be a scenic drive in some national park. It really could. Except you're on an interstate. It's wild. So that's where I was this morning. It was an amazing drive. I would drive that again. However, I do not want to be driving 15 or 5 or 80 or any of those roads going through Nevada to California. This sounds terrible. So even though it will technically on paper take a little bit longer, what I'm planning to do is drive this 50 to Ely, Nevada, and then take 6, which is, well, even though 50 is called the loneliest road in America because of that article, 6 is actually, I would say, one of the loneliest roads. I mean, you're on 6, there ain't nothing for very long chunks of time. And there are rest stops. So drive on 6 all the way through to California, and then spend the night outside of Yosemite at the place I slept in a couple months ago. And then it's okay if the park's closed because they won't be closed on October 1st. So I can drive through Yosemite to get back to the Bay Area, and I'll do it super early in the morning. I'm going to take a different route. I'm going to go the southern route, which on paper takes longer, but I think in reality actually will be shorter. And then the only interstate I will be on will be a tiny bit of 101 just to like get into the San Jose, California, Silicon Valley area. I think that will be a better drive, even if I have a migraine. If I don't have a migraine, I definitely will enjoy it. And another thing that I want to put in my plan with traveling is more campground stays. Actually make reservations for campground stays, because I find it incredibly helpful to be at a campground to actually even do work. So I can't do law firm work in a campground unless the campground happens to have connectivity, which a lot of people don't, but I can edit video there. And it's also a great place for me to just relax and chill, because I can be there, I can just stay there all day and take a nap. I have a picnic table, I can eat food. And one of the things that I didn't think about, which is actually very important, is when I'm staying in a campground, and just at the campground, yeah, maybe I'm paying 20, 18, 23, 35 even dollars to spend the night there. But I'm putting no gas in my car, and I'm cooking all my own food from scratch because I have a picnic table and all my stuff. So factoring that in actually changes how much it really costs, especially if it's like the north rim of the Grand Canyon. That was only $18 a night. So $18, it's like, if I'm not going anywhere, then there's no gas going in my car. And I'm not eating out at all. So one of the problems that happens is when I'm in these towns, I'm just in the town for a little bit, I tend, and actually definitely when I'm traveling, I tend to eat out a bit because there will be times where there's nowhere good for me to cook food. One thing that I am going to do, though, on my next traveling trip is I'm going to bring my electric cook with me. I meant to bring it this time in Idaho. The reason is like when it was raining in Idaho Falls, I could have cooked inside my car if I had my electric cooker. I didn't have it, and I'm not cooking propane in my car. Like, that's just, even I won't do that. So if I had that, I could have cooked things in my car, and that would have, saved a lot of money. And also just be better than be going to freaking McDonald's. Now, I have no regrets about going to Arby's yesterday. I hadn't been to Arby's in a long time because there's no Arby's by where I live. And I was so hungry and eating this huge roast beef sandwich. I haven't had roast beef in years. I haven't had Arby's in many years. They also have great curly fries. I mean, it was so good. It was amazing how much I enjoyed it. Part of it, I think, is just I hadn't had it in a long time. But I think I really needed a complete meal, and I hadn't been up to making one because I felt so bad.
In half a mile, turn left onto East 4500 South Road.
Half a mile to turn. All right. I'm not going to let you go. We're on the phone. I'm going to end this now, and because I need to start churning and doing different things later. Okay, this looks ominous. Oh, goodness. So I'm in a town in Nevada at a Love's truck stop where I might sleep tonight because this is the kind of last, there's not that many towns in this part of the world. This is the last town that actually has pretty much most things until you get over into California. And I looked at the weather report for California and for the passes going over, and it's got a weather report of 4 to 8 inches of snow at elevation. And I'm like, no. I'm not up for driving through mountain passes with snow. And it's not that I'm against driving with snow, and I have my cables and all that stuff, but that is not what I'm signed up for. I have a migraine today. There's a chance I'll have it tomorrow still. I'm not going to drive through mountain passes of Yosemite with a migraine if there's snow. 4 to 8 inches, I don't think I could even do anyway. I can't do 8 inches of snow in Honda Civic. So that's a not start. I'll do that. It may not snow that much, but that's what the prediction is at 10,000 feet. At 8,000 feet, it's more like 1 to 4. But so it wasn't going to be like that earlier. So that's why I went this way. But here we are now. Obviously, this rain is no problem. It just means I have been driving a little bit slower and stuff, and it will be chilly here, but I actually like sleeping in the cold, so that's no problem. I can't go on iOverlander to see if this place cares about me sleeping here because it is literally brand new. Like, it's like a month old or something. So no one's posted on iOverlander, but people have other places around here. The next place up actually has signs, no overnight parking. So this place doesn't have signs. So I think I'm just going to go with it. And if someone knocks on my window, then they knock on my window. I'll go in there and go to the bathroom at like 8:30, my usual time, and buy something, I got gas somewhere else actually, because I wasn't planning on stopping. But I was like, before I get out of town, I should check to see the weather. One of the other issues is even when I was going to sleep, which was not going to be in the mountains, I wasn't going to cross the mountains tonight, but where I was going to sleep, it may be snowing right around there. I'm like, I don't want to wake up to like snow and I can't leave and I'm trapped in like this place, That's not what I'm up for. There are times where I will definitely do snow stuff, but now is not the time for that. All right, so I have decided to come to this rest stop. I was thinking about staying in town at a truck stop or some other parking lot there, the casinos. This is Nevada, so. But I just didn't like the vibe. I don't know. I don't tell you. So I was only like 10 minutes out of town, 10 miles because it's so fast here on the highway. It's this rest stop, and it actually expressly says you can stay here for 18 hours. Like, this is an area that's for overnight camping. I'm like, great. I don't have to worry about that. There's bathrooms that have actual running water. I'm not saying they're nice, but the running water, I could actually brush my teeth if I want to actually walk over there. It's a little bit and it's raining. So I'm here where it is not going to snow. It's not going to be that cold. It's raining. And the rest stop I'm at is a little bit up a little hill. So we won't have, a flood right here. Cross my fingers, knock on leather. And actually the flash flood warning ends at like 7 something. So it won't be that much longer. And then the warning is passed. So my thought is I'm going to wake up with the warning. I'm going to see what happened. See, did it actually snow? How much did it snow? Are they still predicting snow? All that kind of stuff. So worst case, I can drive south. I can go this way, drive south on the 395 and go over to Hatchby, which is not, they didn't snow there. It didn't snow at that low of an elevation. That's a big, long ways out of my way. So that's an option. If it didn't snow it only snowed at really high elevations, but not medium, then I could drive up that way and go to one of those passes over there because they're not as high of elevation as driving through Yosemite, which is what my original plan was. Driving through Yosemite is the fastest way, actually. Not because it's fast, because it's the most direct. But you have to be up at like 10,000 feet. This wasn't something that I planned really far ahead of time because I changed my plans because of the government shutdown, which actually may not end up happening. I'm going to have to check and see. They might have actually passed a continuing resolution. But the thing is, I also just felt like I needed to regroup. I needed to create new plans for how I travel. I have a migraine, many things. And because I have a migraine, it makes it much more difficult for me to make quick decisions or decisions generally. So I was like, I'm going to take the most conservative most conservative idea and just go home base, I guess. I'm always at my home. Now, the reason I decided to come this way in particular was because I wanted to drive highways like that, that's just like a road, but it's a highway, because they're much more pleasant and enjoyable. And I do not regret that at all. However, it did put me in the middle of kind of nowhere. So it made it difficult. I'm like there's a path up here, there's a path down here. I'm in the middle, which if you can go in the middle, that's great. It's the fastest way, but if you can't, now you gotta go in all the other direction. So tomorrow I'll look at all the predictions and look at the highways and see which one would be the best idea. In the meanwhile, it's actually over here. I don't know if you can see. There's a picnic table over there for the morning. I wake up and it's not raining. I may, make some breakfast. I don't think I have any eggs left. Yeah, I ate all my eggs, but I could make toast. I could make whatever food, right? I could make coffee. It all depends on how cold is it in the morning. What does everything look like? Am I ready to leave? Do I have a migraine, etc.? The other thing that I have to do either tonight or tomorrow morning is I need to pay my bills because it is the first of the month tomorrow. And even though I don't pay rent, I still have first of the month bills. Almost everything's due. And even the things that aren't due, I just pay them on the first because that's the easiest thing. So I need to do that. I'd rather not have to do that with a migraine, but if I have a migraine tomorrow, then I'm definitely doing the migraine. And that's just the way it is. Yeah, I really don't know what is the best decision. One of the kind of funny things is since I had my last trip when I was on 395, I'm actually, I won't say close to 395, but that's the next north-south road if I go that way, which is the direction I was going. So I've been there recently, so I know where our stuff is to eat and go to the bathroom and the various things. So that makes it a little bit helpful. But I can go to the bathroom here tonight. I can go to the bathroom here first thing in the morning, so that takes care of those things. Yeah, I really like sleeping at rest stops, especially if it's a rest stop that says you're allowed to sleep here, that invites you practically, because I feel like no one's going to throw me out of here. I don't have to worry about that, You're supposed to rest so you can drive without being fatigued. And the thing is, having a migraine makes me fatigued a lot easier. Part of the reason, this drive it was a 9-hour drive, and I only got through 2/3 of that through about 6.5, 7 hours. I don't know exactly where that distance, but I guess about 7.5 hours. If I didn't have a migraine, I could have done it. I wouldn't have had to stop. That's one of the things that happened. But then I would be in a dispersed campsite and it might actually snow on me there. And I would have woken up to snow on me, which would have been really cool video, but not necessarily what I wanted to do right now. One of the things I learned is when you travel in this time of year, you literally need to bring stuff for every season. I need summer clothes. I need winter clothes. I actually should have brought my snow stuff. I have my snow stuff for the car, but not for my own self. And I actually need that. Obviously rain gear, which I have. I have rain gear. I have my umbrella and I have my rain jackets and stuff in the back. And my umbrella is right under my seat, which I realized because it rained multiple times. But I will say every trip that I do, I learn more and I get better at doing this. I did actually look at hotels in town, and the cheapest one was $166. And I'm like, no, rather save my car. Like, because I thought maybe since it's a small town that it would have some inexpensive motels or something. At least, and I only looked on hotels.com. I mean, I could have, looked in other places, but because I was just doing it super fast. But I think they're marked up because there's not a lot of choices around here, so they can charge higher rates. I mean, that's more, I could find a cheaper place in the Silicon Valley, but you're paying for a location and the fact that it's raining or snowing and you want to get out of it. Oh, I'm so happy about this. My rain guards, so I can leave my windows cracked. I'm so thankful for Past Elizabeth for getting these. Yay, Past Elizabeth. Yeah, so one of the things I also realized about traveling for me is that I planned this trip, this month-long trip that I only did half of, based on how I've done trips in the past. But the trips I did in the past were typically at the most 10-day trips. And I would do a ton of driving, going through, first getting out of California, maybe going through one more state, and then going to this place and this place and this place and this place and driving every single day. At least 3 or 4 hours, sometimes 6 or 10 hours. That's fine to do for a week or 10 days, but you can't do that every day, like 50 weeks a year for all the time. Like that just is going to burn you out, and it's also, gosh, awful expensive with gas. Even in places like this where my gas is only $3 and something as opposed to California where it's going to be $6 and something. So I'm thinking I need to plan the trips differently. And I had talked to before about how I want to have a thing where I go to this state and I stay in this one state or one part of a state for a month or two. And my thought was I was going to wait to do that until I'm in my next vehicle because I want to go on all the gravel roads and all this stuff. And then that would be great for that. And then right now in this car, I'm going to do all the kind of big, huge trips. But I think the big, huge trip idea is I just can't do it. I can't do long driving days every single day, day after day. No, I didn't do it every single day. I had times where, like when I was at North Rim of the Grand Canyon, and I stayed there for 3 nights. I had one day where I drove 0, and then another day where I drove maybe 2 hours. So I did have times where I didn't do that much driving. But yeah, and then I had times where I was in Idaho Falls, Idaho, where I was just there. I mean, I was driving around town, but I wasn't like driving, But still, a lot of long days. And yeah, I think it just burns me out and makes me more susceptible to migraines and stuff, and makes it harder to plan on what stuff I need. And so, yeah, I think it's not that I want to just go to one place and stay there for 2 weeks. Like a lot of people who live in their vehicles, a lot of van lifers, whatever, they go to some dispersed spot and they stay there for 2 weeks. That isn't something that's necessarily interesting to me right now. I do want to go places, but I need to do less driving every day. So I don't know what my next trip is going to be because I have a bunch of stuff I need to do first. I need with the, storage room and all kinds of things, and redoing some things in here. And I also just need to see where I'm at. Like, do I get all that stuff done in 2 weeks does it take me 2 months? I don't know. But once I get all that done, then I'll look at the seasons and think about how I want to travel. Not be planning these gigantic long things. Like I had this idea to drive the Great River Road, which is follow the Mississippi from New Orleans all the way up to Minnesota. I think that's too much. I think that actually is a great trip to do someday when I can do it really slow and I don't need to come back to California or anything like that. And, like that, I think is a trip for a different time. I'm not there yet. So I think now I need to be doing trips where I'm not having to drive 9 hours a day every day. It's not working. I don't want to just stay in California because number one, I've been to a lot of places in California already over these years that I've lived here, but also it's actually a harder place to live in your car because there's so many places you can't go and sleep. Where in other states, you can go to Walmart, Supercenter, or rest stop or whatever. It's no problem. California, you could sleep in rest stops, but a lot of times they're really, really busy and full. So it can be hard to get a spot. We're here. Here it actually has a sign that says camping area, 18 hours max, so obviously they're totally fine with it. I'm in Nevada right now, if I hadn't said that already. So yeah, so I'm going to think about my next trip, maybe actually planning it more. I thought I had planned this one a fair amount, and I did, but it's just too much driving. All right, I'm trying to switch myself back to Pacific time, because I've been on Mountain time. So I'm yawning because, well, it is 7:30 Pacific time, which is the time zone I'm in right now. It's 8:30 Mountain time, and I know for a lot of people 8:30 is not late, but it's late for me. So I'm gonna not start going to bed or doing my things quite yet, but I'm gonna just chill out for a while and then start doing my routines later.